So we are getting ready to do the next mystery box. I am about to find out what it is that I am going to be cooking. So here we go. I'm going to move the cutting board and let's see what it is I'm going to be cooking today. And I have 25 minutes to cook whatever is inside of here. So 1, 2, 3. 25 minutes on the clock. Let's go. Oh. So by the looks of it, we have canned stuff and frozen stuff. Canned and frozen. That's my mystery box. Canned and frozen food. All right, so we got canned corn. We got a mix of frozen, what looks like potatoes and squash and carrots. We also have canned carrots. Here is some canned potatoes. This is like frozen onion. Here's some more frozen something. I'm gonna put that with that. We have a jar of pesto and frozen shrimp. Interesting. Timer's going. All right, so what do I want to do? I think, yeah. So this is gonna go in there. I'm probably gonna saute this. So the canned corn, I'm gonna drain it out of its canned juice. And I'm going to saute just some of that. Probably take some of these, saute it as well. This is, I'm gonna turn into a puree. And so we'll turn this into a puree with this. I'm gonna saute the corn and I am going to roast off these potatoes. And I think what I'm gonna do with the pesto is I'm actually gonna marinate the shrimp in the pesto and get that into a pan. So let's get started. So onions in, carrot in, lost one, whatever this is. This is squash, also going in with the carrots. I am gonna pick out some of these carrots, a little bit of salt, pepper, the rest of the onions. Onto the burner. Get that going immediately. So I just touched the shrimp. The shrimp are already starting to thaw, which is perfect because I want to get some of this pesto flavor on it. So canned food, I'm not too mad about it. It has a really bad reputation just because a lot of people think that it's processed or there's way too much sugar and all that. And in some cases that might be correct. But in other cases too, for example, frozen strawberries, they actually pick those at like the peak of its season and they instantly freeze it, which allows it to keep that fresh flavor. So you'd be surprised, but a lot of restaurants actually do use what they call IQF, instantly quick frozen fruits. Not so much vegetables, but they do use a lot of frozen fruits. But we're recording this in the middle of a pandemic still, and I think canned and frozen is probably the smartest way to go because it has a long shelf life. So I'm not gonna use these ends of the potato, but I am gonna take, so there's a dish called potato fondant where you take potatoes like this and you roast it on one side and then you flip it and add stock into it and put it in the oven. It's literally like tasting chicken noodle soup in a potato. So I'm gonna do something similar to that. I'm gonna roast it on one side. I think I have some vegetable stock and that's gonna help also. So let's get that going. Another pan. Our carrot puree is already going. Get that hot first. Get these ends over here. Shrimp. Shrimp is good. Wash my hands. Okay, so let's take some of this pesto, oil and all. We're gonna get it right into the shrimp. It's gonna be super green. At the very last minute, I'll add the salt and pepper, because if I put the salt in there now, it'll kind of start to cook it, and it's not what we want yet. So just gonna get that pesto flavor in there. Time check. 1958. It's just throwing me because I already have potatoes. I'm technically using the carrot and the squash, so let's just add it to the puree. Meanwhile, our pan is getting hot over here where we're gonna throw the potatoes in. So right now we have a carrot and butternut squash puree that we're working on. Oil into the pan. There's a lot of water because they were canned, so just be extremely careful. So another thing that we would do in the restaurants is whenever we needed to cook something faster, but you don't have lids for every pan in the restaurant. So sometimes we would just take another pan and put it on top. So that's my lid. Seasoning, salt, pepper, and I might just even add a little bit of pesto to the very, very end of the cooking of the potatoes. And I'm probably gonna add the corn in at the end as well. So shrimp is marinating, puree is going. The only thing that we're gonna use from our staple ingredients is like onions, salt, pepper, oil, cream for chefs, butter, and cream in everything. So once this gets, so it's canned, so it's already soft. The frozen ones is the one that we just need to soften up and cook through. But the canned carrots is already soft. So once we get the frozen one thawed and softened, we're just gonna throw all of it in a blender. Let's get the blender. We're almost, how many? Okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Sure?
I'm good.
Sure?
I think I'm good. I think I'm ready. Yeah. I'm good. We'll be fine. We might need a little bit more liquid in that. Vegetable stock. So I need a little bit more liquid in that puree. So I'm adding vegetable stock. I'm not showing you the brand because they're not paying us for this. Not too much, because we want it to cook down. You will not see the brand. Okay. I'm good. I just need some butter. We move the blender around, so potatoes. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. They almost look like bananas. Tostones. That is a Puerto Rican, Caribbean, but mostly Puerto Rican. All right, so I'm gonna get some color on the bottom of that, and then I'm gonna flip them back on the side that I started on just to get a deeper brown on that. And then corn will go in there, and then shrimp will go in here, and we're good. Next time I'm doing it in 20 minutes.
Yeah, right. Look at you, Coffee.
Frozen shrimp. You'd be surprised. Also, a good amount of restaurants use that. Particularly here in the Midwest where I'm from, because we're kind of landlocked. We don't have a lot of access to open water. So for those who want shrimp, most times they have to settle with frozen shrimp. It may have been caught fresh, but when it got to the restaurant, it was frozen. So we got a nice amount of color from the pesto, and there's oil in it already in the pesto. What is pesto? Pesto is basically Parmesan, pine nuts, a little bit of garlic, basil, and a lot of olive oil. They do it most times by hand. It's a condiment for many places in Italy. It's also a sauce. I like basil pesto cream sauce, so you can add that, some reduced white wine, cream to finish, and that's a great sauce for your pasta. Huh? Yeah. Heavy cream also going into the puree. We're gonna throw a little knob of butter inside the potatoes. We're good. We're good. Potatoes are looking good. A little bit of heavy cream into the bottom of this. I know you probably can't see this. A little bit heavy cream. Now, puree in. Very loud. Butter. More butter. All right, potatoes getting flipped. At the very, very last minute, I'm gonna add the corn in here. Those potatoes look very crispy. Oh, let's get some oil over here and start cooking the shrimp. Blend. Shrimp. Salt. Those shrimp look divine. A little bit more oil, and I'm actually going to take it off and shut it off. Transfer our puree. Now let's check seasoning. Heard. Salt, good amount of pepper. Just heat it up a touch. Plates.
3 minutes on the clock.
Heard. I'm gonna use this glass one so we can see the colors. Okay. Move. We're gonna start plating up. Wipe it down. Okay, now puree's ready. Potatoes are good. Corn. Very last minute. Get the corn in. Shrimp. That's actually a minute 34. Just trying to scare me. We're gonna drain this out. We don't want all that oil in the plate. So right here, potatoes, corn, Okay, let's start the plate up. So corn was used, potatoes were used. This went into the puree. The shrimp was marinated briefly in the pesto. Right, so side to side. Potatoes, shrimp, and just a little bit of pesto. Done. Seconds to spare. So there you go. Tune in next time to see what else we come up with these crazy mystery boxes that my beautiful wife is coming up with. Don't forget to share it. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that button with the alerts so that you can see every time we put up a new video. All right. See you guys.